Well, so this afternoon we're starting off with a concern of the Christian Council of Ghana and the Ghana Catholics Bishops Conference. Well, they've served notice that in the coming days they'll be engaging the Inspector General of Police in over recent reports of lawlessness and growing conflicts across the country. Now, the religious groups say they're saddened by the clash, for instance, between the youth and the police service at Nkranza in the Bono East region, which happened on Tuesday, May 17, 2022, which led to the death of at least one person with several others injured. Hence, the need to engage further the Ghana Police Service on the matter. Also, the group says, in the wake of threats of terror on the country, the Christian Council says it is taking steps to educate churches and also create awareness on the imminent attack. But there's a need for us to break the concerns down to you and bring you some of the indications that the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference and also the Christian Council have been indicating. You would have that on your screens shortly. But first, let's bring you an interaction with Dr. Cyril Fayose, who's the General Secretary of the Christian Council. Fortunately, he's joining us via Zoom to lay out the concerns to us. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on The Pulse. Let's start off by understanding the meeting that was held between the Christian Council and the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference. Is this a usual meeting that you do, or perhaps due to the recent reports of crime and conflicts across the country, that's why you decided to meet in recent times? Well, so we'll of course, try and get Dr. Cyril Fayose, who is with the Christian Council of Ghana. In fact, he's the secretary of that group. They jointly issued a statement with the the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference, and they've laid out a number of issues. In fact, some of the items I'll be bringing to you shortly, including how they're talking about that imminent terror attack that government has announced of. They also touch on some issues bordering on lawlessness in the country and the recent upheavals in the Nkranza areas, which led to the death of at least one person. These religious groups says, they would be arranging a meeting with the Inspector General of Police, try as much as possible to get some time with him to lay out the concerns of the group, and also try as much as possible to get some results on resolving the unprofessional conduct. And they've raised that point as well in their statement, talking about unprofessional conduct on the part of the Ghana Police Service. So let's try and get an understanding from the Christian Council of Ghana, particularly as they've issued that notice. Dr. Reverend Cyril Fayose is joining us. He's the Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana. Thank you, Doc, for your time. So finally, it's a good time to ask you what necessitated that meeting between the Christian Council and then the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference. Is this one of your usual meetings, or perhaps given what's happening across the country, that's why you decided to go on?
Yes. Good afternoon to your cherished listeners and viewers. It's a regular annual meeting between the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference and the Christian Council of Ghana, just to strengthen our ecumenical relations and also to discuss matters of concern to the nation and to the church, and also to pray for the nation.
But then if you look at the issues that you're pointing to, you're talking of a number of issues. You start off, first of all, from matters relating to education. But for now, I'm concerned about security, because what's interesting is that you're pointing to some growing reports of unprofessional conduct on the part of the police service and then conflicts across the country. Why is the Christian Council concerned about this? Well,
we are naturally concerned anytime there is violence, anytime there is any disturbance of the peace of the nation, because invariably it affects everyone, including the church, including the churches. So we are naturally concerned. And so we are calling for calm, and we are calling for professionalism on the part of the police, so that such incidents do not occur in the near future.
In fact, we'll be pointing out some of the issues that you raise in that statement, which we'll be putting on the screens shortly. But then what's also instructive is that you go ahead to talk about a possible meeting with the Inspector General of Police. Exactly what are you seeking? Would you be seeking as religious groups to ask of the IGP to do?
Well, we are going to basically ask that he kind of whips his team into line, that they should be very professional in whatever they do, so that we will not have so many cases of violence and maybe even in some cases death. Such occurrences should be completely avoided. So, but we are just going to have an engagement first of all, and then, as best as we could, ask them to do their job properly.
Their job probably in terms of, trying to provide more security or changing the way they handle, the manner in which they discharge their duties. Is that what you're going to be doing?
All of that, all
okay.
of that.
And then
the
there's
manner in which they discharge their duties, and also the general security situation.
Right.
I believe they are doing their best, but they can even do better.
Interesting. And then there's the second leg to the issue about security, which has got to do with terrorism. You are asking churches across Ghana to begin to roll out measures that would enhance security of the various religious groupings across the country. So practically, first of all, how do you intend to raise that awareness, and what are you doing as the Christian Council of Ghana to support the churches?
So we got a directive from National Security, and we immediately passed it on to the member churches. Remember, the Christian Council is made up of member churches and organizations. We sent it out to them, and we know that they have also acted upon it by recirculating it among their congregational leaders, the pastors, to sensitize the membership of the churches. So that has been done, and this is not the first time. We have done that in the past, and we are just reminding our churches to do what they have to do. A number of things. They have to protect their premises by erecting fence walls and getting them having security personnel, security equipment like CCTV cameras and so on. Having security committees who regularly update the membership on security measures. But above all, is for the members to be vigilant and to be aware of their surroundings and to report any strange occurrences that they see.
And on that issue, obviously there'll be a need for stakeholder engagement. Are you ready to engage the Ghana Police Service on this as well, particularly as we know that some of the churches do not have security guards? What do you intend to do in terms of collaboration with the police service?
We organize a number of seminars. We ask the churches to organize security seminars. The security committees can organize seminars and invite the police service to assist in that process. So the engagement with the Ghana Police Service is to make their services available to the churches as and when they call upon them.
So in the wake of the security concerns, what's your message as the Christian Council of Ghana to those who may be anxious, worried as Christians as well, particularly looking at the trend of attacks? You see that happening particularly on religious bodies, churches, and other public places. What's your message to them?
Well, my message to the general public and to the churches is that we should not be scared. Our security services are on top of the issues, but it's important that they share some of these concerns with us so that they rope us in, so we are part of the security of the entire nation. So they should not be scared, but they should be very vigilant. They should open their eyes. They should be careful about whatever they do. They should watch their surroundings. As the Bible says, we should be wise as serpents, but humble as doves.
Right. And just as we wrap up, I would also want to take your thoughts on this very briefly before we go, which has got to do with the concerns you're raising about the education sector. Why are you having a concern that, for instance, looking at the Ghana Education Service Council, which is about to be inaugurated, you don't have representation on. What's really the concern about that?
You can bear me out that the missions or the faith-based organizations provide, if not more than the government, at least about 50% of the education that we have in this country. So the faith-based organizations are major stakeholders when it comes to the development of education in our dear nation, Ghana. So it is unbecoming of the ministry to keep sidelining the faith-based organization. We used to have representation of the council, and then all of a sudden, without any engagement, any consultation, we have been kicked out of it. We are now being told that among all the different faith-based groupings, we should have one representative. And how we are going to determine even that one representative had not been communicated to us. So, as far as we know, we are no longer on the council, which is not fair.
How far do you intend to take this?
Oh, we are going to take this very far. We are going to have engagements with the minister. There are other issues that we are discussing. In fact, we have called for an MOU to be signed long ago that had not been signed. And that will take care of some of these unilateral decisions by just one party when it affects all of us as major stakeholders. So if they sign the MOU and then there's some universal guidelines for religious practice in schools that is coming up. If they sign some of these things, then there will be a proper engagement when it comes to implementing some of the decisions that we take. Then.
But Reverend, in all of this, you're faced with some criticisms as well as a religious body which is well known for putting government on its toes. This time round, the criticism is that you're picking and choosing the issues. You're running away from some critical matters that are confronting Ghanaians today. And perhaps it's the reason why you're waning in terms of the influence that you wield over government and the people of Ghana. How do you respond to such claims as well?
Well, I would like them to give me examples of what they are talking about. I'm not sure. Anyway, we have a right as an organization to pick and choose what we want to talk about. We can't force anyone or any organization to talk on issues that you think are of more concern than others. That is our prerogative. We go into meetings and we look at the issues, and maybe we can even discuss it but not report on it, and comment on those that we want to comment on and leave the rest. I mean, you can't.
But why
did you comment on this and not on the other one?
Why leave the rest when you are religious leaders? The concern is.
Say that again.
You are religious leaders. The expectation is that you speak truth to power at all times and in all matters.
Oh yes, we do that, but we decide which issues we are going to speak to at which time. You can determine that from our side, because that will then be very difficult for us. So, how do we know what the public wants us to speak on?
But you watch the news. You watch the news every day.
The stories that are around, and then we discuss them. And those that are worth commenting on, as far as the churches are concerned, we do so.
Anyway, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose joining us. He is the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana.